What's all this ruckus? Sounded worse than a dozen tomcats fighting over the world's last mackerel. Ah, but I see we've suffered another orc landing. And judging by the relative ease with which it was dispatched, I can only come to one conclusion. Source hunters have arrived in Sicil. You're as welcome as a glass of cooled milk on a hot day, my friend. I'm Ahu, at your service. It was I who requested your presence in this troubled city.
To go pacing now, I'll walk out that door.
So you were, and so you weren't. Behold!
Well, what does it matter? Daylight
There
was
we
more
are. Meet my other half, Hunter. Ha ha! No need to look so flabbergasted. I may be a wizard rife with tricks and guile, but I assure you my plea is an earnest one. So, now that the cat is out of the bag, let us turn to the matter of Councillor Jake's murder. It's hard to put my finger on it, but I can feel in my very whiskers that sorcery was at play. Visit the scene of the crime, and I'd bet sardines for salad you'll say the same. Captain Aureus, though, the local commander of the Legion, insists I'm seeing ghosts. I insist he's blind to all but the undead. Jake was murdered in a downstairs room of the King Crab Inn, up in Sicil proper. The Legion keeps it under lock and key, though, so you'll need Aureus's permission should you want to have a peek.
Yes.
So there are, or rather, there is. Popular opinion has it his wife did the deed, but to be frank, I have my doubts. She seems a likely candidate, to be sure, but that would make her a sorceress. Esmeralda knows how to charm, yes, but I just don't see her magic extend beyond a frolicsome look and wink. Still, don't simply take my word for it, Hunter. It may be well worth your while to cross-examine her yourself. The Legion has her under guard in her shop near the town square. That's where you'll find poor Jake's widow.
Myself, if I don't start earning an extra gold pacing now, I'll walk out that door.
A human, you say? Truly? But that would be like a kitten leading a wolf pack.
Daylight was more suited
And
to
yet,
my
I have heard rumors about a sect of sorts. A shadowy set of worshippers that associate even with orcs. Some say they're sorcerers, but people will say that about anyone who behaves a bit strangely nowadays. I don't quite know what to make of this news, but thank you for informing me. It'd be foolish to dismiss such a curious event out of hand. Unfortunately, that is absolutely correct. The Orc siege is yet another hairball stuck in this city's already choking throat, and it shows no signs of abating. We've cordoned off the western beach where most Orc activity has been reported. For the 9 lives of me, I can't seem to figure what they're doing here.
If I don't
There's
start
nothing of interest along the waterfront, except for a set of caves with an unfavorable reputation. Maybe they're after some pirate's treasure. The fools. Ah, the undead. They've been clawing their way out of the ground for 2 years now. And for 2 years the stalemate between them and the living has been dragging on at a weary pace indeed. The Legion did a good job keeping them at bay, but I think it's fair to say that without my magic-infused ballistary, they'd have gotten the better of us by now. Someone is responsible for the outbreak. Necromancers are at work, but who are they and where do they hide? Alas, that searching for them is like searching for a single louse in a lion's mane.
I said to him, I said myself, if I don't start earning an extra gold pacing now, I'll walk out that door.
Good on you. These boss men respect confidence, you know. And so what did he say?
Well, what does it matter? Day labour's more suited to my nature anyhow.
Yes, honest pay for an honest day.
Avert your gaze, and I'll handle this threat for all our sakes.
You wouldn't hurt a fly, and I won't let you hurt a horn on her.
Bringing your little orcish girlfriend here is like bringing a wolf to a hen house. What fool would trust a two-bit love
I
potion
said
out of
to
a
him, I
back-paid
said myself,
circular from
if
you
I
told
don't start
God.
earning an extra gold piece an hour, I'll walk out that door.
Good on you. These boss men respect confidence, you know. And so what did he say?
Well, what does it matter? Day labour's more suited to my nature anyhow.
Yes, honest pay for an honest day.
Enough human greed. Cast the shoes instead upon my fair fanged strength.
Avert your gaze, and I'll handle this threat for all our sakes.
I said to him, I said myself, if I
Oh,
don't
but that's
start...
not a trick. It's a blessing. Or does it surprise you that I enjoy taking a feline guise?
Well, what does it matter?
Such magic is a gift, Hunter. To tread upon the realm of instinct. Even articulate speech, perhaps humanity's greatest asset, cannot give expression to something so inextricably innate. To be out in the night, to stalk on silent paws and hunt with only the moon as your witness. You couldn't possibly imagine the thrill. But of course, it's handy to speak in more than meows. And I couldn't brew potions or make machines without opposable thumbs. This I freely admit. Let's just say I have found a way to enjoy the best of two worlds. I'm glad we've met, Source Hunter. And I'm certain we have a lot more to talk about. Feel free to visit me whenever you want. I've set up a workshop in the Legion's headquarters. Once you're there, just take the stairs, but do pay a visit to Aureus first. He may bark like a beagle with its tail stuck in the door, but you won't get very far in your investigation without speaking to the de facto leader of Sicil. And with that, I bid you adieu, Hunter. Adieu and good luck. May your enemies prove to be mere mice, and you the dauntless mouser.
Sorcery, sects, undead, orcs. Looks like we have our work cut out for us.
At least we won't be bored. How about we go see that Aureus chap Ahu mentioned?
I said to him, I said myself...
Is that why we never sail to Yuthel Gore anymore?
Speaking
Our
of
home, our livelihood, all sunk in a matter of minutes while we could do nothing but look on. These damn orcs. They can't keep off this place for the life of them. They came in here slinging fireballs and swinging swords. Wasn't a thing we could do to defend ourselves. With our ship gone, nothing for it but to get a job. Slim pickings around here, that's for sure. Maybe you can keep an eye out, though. That was a right stunning show of magic you pulled, it was. Wish you'd have been around when our own barge... Well, We were merchants what seems like a moment ago. With our ship sunk, we're little more than 3 men with nothing more to say than boo.
Have you found us a job yet? We'll take anything. Really?
Is that Orky charm loves him? Have you found us a job yet? We'll take anything. Really? Well, you never know when someone... It's your light.
Ha! No, he didn't. He drove it straight to the pub and back. Sauce? Here in Seal? Ah, of all that cursed hunks of rock to land on, Conrad chooses this one. That was some fast acting there. Many thanks on behalf of all us seamen. Who knows if it's even over for sure? Those damn orcs keep sending us these terrible surprises.
Oh, and don't forget the time...
I don't know how you did that, hocus pocus, but boy, am I grateful. I thought the old gal's fate was sealed when the orc shaman set his fiery gaze on her sails. But you managed to rescue her from a watery grave. Closest thing to a miracle I've ever seen.
Psst. Ever hear about the time the...
Ahoy, sailor! Are you enjoying the fresh winds of Seal?
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the Lizard Councillor's wife.
Name's Conrad. Cargo trader, sea captain, an expert in all things nautical. Folks across Andervale know to give old Conrad a holler when it comes to rare imports and magical items.
My loving nature.
Psst. Ever hear about the
Those
time...
orcs must be out of their barbarous minds launching an attack on a city where a great wizard resides. Though even I must admit they put up a hearty effort.
Passing a love note to the
I'll
Lizard
tell you,
Council.
the only time I'd consider waging a suicide campaign like that would be if whatever I sought was something worth dying over.
I wouldn't let it all within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Psst. Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Fennel's carriage for the joyride?
Ha! No, he didn't. He drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time... Shores? Here? In Seal? Bah! Of all the cursed unks... Don't forget...
Sauce?
Oh, and don't forget...
If I don't start earning an extra gold piece now, I'll walk out that door.
Good on you. Lead.
Salutations! Source hunters, I see. I'm Sergeant Courteous, proud protector. Courteous is my name. The Legion is my calling. This is a storing house for Legion supplies. Perhaps the most important building in the realm, by my and others' estimation. And I, Sergeant Courteous, have been trusted to guard it.
This place reeks of orc stench. This place reeks of orc stench. place reeks of orc stench.
God, duty's not so bad, hey?
Would be quite a bit better if I could do it in peace.
Just making conversation, mate.
Mate, he says. We are colleagues, nothing more.
Come now, it's just a turn of phrase.
Will you please turn your phrases elsewhere?
Well, a source hunter. A very hearty welcome to our humble warehouse. Have a look around. And don't mind if I pick your brain about the scoop around Undervale. I'm behind on my current affairs. I tell you, this gig sure beats getting my toes bitten off by zombies out in the field. We warehouse guards don't have to do much apart from stroll the perimeter a few times an hour. And of course, every now and again, some friendly folks, like yourself, will wander through here. And nothing beats a pleasant conversation, though my comrade Horatius has quite different opinions on that matter. Have you talked to him? Thinks every man, woman and child who steps foot in this place wants to rob it blind. If I so much as greet a townsperson with a hello instead of a state your purpose, he starts frothing on and on about guardly duty and security breaches. This Jake business is quite the scandal, no? I myself suspect his wife, Esmeralda, and the butcher seconds that, let me tell you. Then again, and you didn't hear this from me, he's going through quite the nasty divorce himself. And there's his children to consider. But I imagine his youngest, Kimberly, won't mind. Never did get on well with her mother ever since the incident. Oh, it's an unparalleled pleasure having a fresh ear around here.
This place reeks of orc stench. This place reeks of orc stench. Oh, a source hunter. About time the council took us seriously. Maybe you can start with the two idiots hiding their pet orc here.
Henhouse.
Nonsense. Listen, she's purring.
Ah, who better than a proven orc crusher to convince my dumbbell of a friend here that orcs are predators, not pets?
Enough of that. I know how dangerous an orc can be, but this one has been reformed. Anyone can see that she's completely docile, but my prejudiced friend here still wants to kill her.
Maybe before the Great Orc Raid we had time to indulge Ninius's idiotic obsessions. But now we're needed at our posts. I can hardly believe I've been wasting time protecting an orc when I should be running them through.
Excuse my friend's violent outbursts. He hasn't enjoyed a woman's touch in quite some time now. It makes him a bit edgy.
Your woman's touch is less of a loving caress and more of a claw shanked brutally through the throat. I'll take my chances as a bachelor, thanks.
My friend here and I were patrolling outside the city walls, when who did I see creeping along the shore but this lovely orcish lady? For a brief second, as long as eternity, we locked eyes.
Perhaps confused by the butterflies in her stomach, she sprang up and began running, claws bared towards Marius. Fortunately for him, I had the presence of mind to ignore my sword and instead adroitly fling my pouch of trinkets towards her. A vial of love potion shattered over her head, and when she turned to face me, she became instantly enamored. I'm sure she must have been compelled to join the Orcish army under some kind of duress.
Ha! I can assure...
I've always had an amateur interest in all things alchemical. When I read in an esteemed periodical from the Wizards of Youthful Gore about an amazing opportunity that could change my life, I had to act fast or lose the once-in-a-lifetime deal. I sent away for the world-famous love potion, available for a limited time only, and it has worked exactly as promised.
You see what a fool my friend has been, spending all his cash on snake oil and bringing a temporarily tranquilized monster into our midst to boot.
What kind of monster would lie in a published advertisement?
You see, he'd believe it was noon at midnight if he read it on a printed pamphlet. Please tell me you can reason with him, or ditch reason and use your sword to shave him from his murderous darling.
She's got to be put down. If this love potion is as dodgy as it sounds, she could come to her vicious senses at any time.
Agreed. I've never met an orc I trusted, charmed or not.
Glad to hear I'm not the only one with common sense around here. I'll do the honors myself.
No! She's harmless! You bastard! You had no right!
No right to protect not only you from your own stupidity, but myself and the citizens of Seal as well.
It's you we need protection from, murderer. Fortunately, the Wizards of Youthful Gore make a revenge elixir that will show you what's what.
This place
Go ahead
reeks
and
of
throw
orc
your
stench.
sugar water on me if you like. Your foolishness is no longer my problem. Thank you, stranger. If you ever need help, I'll do my best to repay you.
This place reeks of orc stench.
Well, tuck my tail and call me Bessie. A 2 feet addressing me directly? Huh, I thought I'd never see the day. Oh, me and my brother Bull have dragged this here cart all around Seal, from dock to graveyard and back again.
Plenty of fish.
Speaking of Bull, you ought to say hello to him. He's clairvoyant, you know. Can tell your fortune to the T.
I'm seeing 2 feet approaching me, and here you are. My powers astound even me. I'm Bull, the leading clairvoyant in Seal. The 2 feets never bother to ask, but I see all that is and is to be. Of course, most winsome 2 feet, of course. What would you like to know? Death. Ever the most difficult topic to foretell. I see. Oh dear. No. No. Your reading is over. Do you hear? Over.
Curse them rotten greenskins. Ate me parrot, Polly, feathers and all.
A source hunter.
Oh.
I feel better already.
Say, no one's around. You wouldn't raise a fuss if I,
Burrow indeed. I'll sooner meet.
Come now! I'll be good for it, I swear! So what do you think? Should I snag a fish?
That merchant has to eat too, you know. Leave the fish alone.
Yes, you know what they...
I suppose you've got a point. Fed a hungry man, you know.
That thief is free for now. But I thank you for making that would-be thief see reason. I only hope your instruction lasts. The last thing the plagued people of Sicil need is a thief among them. Toes.
Don't scuttle away before you've tried some of the ocean's finest bounty. How many crab claws? I listened in while you were talking to that would-be thief. Thank you for preserving my stock. It's no wonder you source hunters are known for setting the place straight.
True. Harry's by the cousins.
Those dark-robed nuts really ruffle my feathers, sneaking around here at all hours of the night.
Looking for a fry-up.
Not in the mood for cheese.
Ah, hello, proportionate one. Oh, I can see from the symmetry in your face that you are a great fan of the fine arts, no?
Quiet down.
I'm a painter by trade, as you can see, but a cartographer at heart. You might think there isn't enough work for one of my talents in a downtrodden city like Sicil, and you'd be quite right.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
I travel around Andervale, mastering my craft and finding new subjects to add to my litany of lovely portraits and complex maps. Like this rooster I'm working on now, and the landscape that surrounds him.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies Sicil's ever seen.
What are ye staring at? Some poor chaps lost their ship and want some work. Just send them to me and tell them there's a bit of coin and a lot of rum coming their way if they don't mind a bit of honest labour.
Dearest customer, I've never seen an aura so plagued by ether. Thank Astarte, I've just the earth scroll to ground you.
Ain't a big cheese on your boat with a wheel of the good stuff. I'm straight. I'm true. Carried by the cousins. Our there's as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
Sauce hunters, eh? All right, proper, we're finally getting a hand. Things is chaos. If you've got a favourite sheep, best to fry her up now before she gets thieved in the night like me dear plump Ogget, the finest in me herd. I recently sold most of the tender loves to a trader heading north. Plenty of business that way these days. Those miners must be preparing for a mighty great feast. Wish I could have a nibble on my dear darlings, all ground and spiced. Yes. Oh, Ogget's been missing for more than a fortnight. I love that sheep, you know. Was planning to cook her into a fine midwinter night haggis myself. Do tell me if you hear anything about her. I plan on pursuing whoever stole her with my cleaver in hand.
Potions to bemuscle you, scrolls to entussle you.
Sorry, can't help you there. Haven't got enough livestock left to warrant a hand with the work.
Not in the mood for cheese. The excuse is more home.
Fantastic!
Come one, come all, and see the amazing singing Stefan! Sicil's only 27 head!
Yes, honest pay for an honest day.
Have you found us a job yet? So there's a captain offering booze and brass for a bit of crate loading. Gods be praised. You've done it, friend. Off we go.
Speaking of youthful York, that would-be legionnaire really gives that all the
Good on you. These boys are steady. Tough.
A sauce hunter! Oh, what a sight for sore Sicilian eyes! Me? I live alone here in town. Used to be that my younger brother Tom and I were practically joined at the hip, but that's all changed now. Oh, he's always been something of a rascal, calling his petty hooliganism adventuring and endlessly worrying my poor mind. Oh, but of course, I've always loved that scamp to bits. For my part, I encouraged him to join the Legion. Even got him sparring with Captain Aureus now and then. But then those blasted Fabulous Five came into town. That band of... I don't even know what to call them. Well, they're his heroes, and I simply couldn't prevent him from going to see them. That one meeting was all it took for Tom to run off with them on some mission to God knows where.
Omnes autem mali daemonis quam. What? What is this? Who are you to interrupt my musings? By Naga the Protector, they have the manners of boors, these boatmen of Sicil. Oh, but perhaps I spoke too soon. Perhaps I was mistaken, for you hardly resemble the local fisherfolk, which, incidentally, is a compliment of copious dimensions indeed. No, a source hunter, that is what you are. Yes, a stalker of sorcery, a chaser of charms pernicious. In truth, I cannot go so far as to say it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, for I take no pleasure in the company of man. But it may just be to our mutual advantage to join forces nonetheless. Why, simply because you hunt source, and I, Jehan, hunt demons. You are aware, of course, that quite often both of these pests frequent the same shadowy pools of infamy. Now, I hate what I hunt, but I respect its cunning. Should I not, I'd have been decimated, body and soul, long since.
Where's the third one gone?
This is a sentiment I'm quite certain you must recognize. Let there be strength in cunning, yes, but also in numbers. The calculus of wizardry I offer you. The might of the magician's mastermind.
Volume 1, Volume 2. But where's the third one gone? Shatsu. Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night.
On one condition. That on our joint travels we will never deal with demonic entities, no matter how tempting their propositions. Give me your word on this, and I'll weave you spells.
Who placed this book here? A volume of poetry among novels? Urak.
Very well. There will be no deals with demons.
Agreed. Nothing good ever came from bargaining with those devils anyway.
Who placed this book
Most
here?
gratifying.
Urak. What mayhem. Kajdinor. A brief history of sorcery still hasn't been returned. Teleron will have to pay yet another fine. Who placed this book here? A volume of poetry among novels? Urak! What mayhem. In the name of Amun-Hor, I bid thee Tujda Getahal, be welcome, human. My library is yours, as I hope your friendship is mine. I am Victoria, daughter of Mayor Cecil. Oh, I know what you're thinking. The likeness isn't exactly striking, is it? When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past Sicil toward the sea. The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc after all. But praise be Amun-Hor, dear Cecil was among the gathered crowd, and he took pity on the exiled infant that chance had put in his way. He raised me like I was his own, this kindest of souls, taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride. Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask is that you return the books you borrow so that others may enjoy them too. Volume 1, Volume 2. But where's the third one gone? Shatsu. Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night. Volume 1, Volume 2. But where's the third one gone? Shatsu. Sometimes I think these books sprout little legs in the night. Who placed this book here? A volume of poetry among novels? Urak! Wouldn't be him. The knight in see-through armor, Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom, Sternticken.
What? Oh, it's you. Come closer then. Closer? My ears aren't what they used to be. Nor my eyes, for that matter. Yes, hello, Source Hunter. Our city welcomes you. My elf? What elf? Oh, myself. I am Cecil, Mayor of Syceal, and husband of the stately Cecilia. I've been the mayor here for decades, and I'm quite eager to see Syceal through these difficult times. Yes, very difficult times indeed. What? Oh, you mean Syceal. Very difficult times indeed. As though the death of Jake, and by source magic no less, weren't enough. We're also facing all sorts of brutish intruders. The undead have overrun all but one northern trade route, while the orcs are making a habit of savaging our beaches. That's not to mention that at the top of this whole caboodle, there's rumors of some new religious sect or cult or some such, sticking its tendrils into the innocent, seven-fearing folks of Syceal. And, while we're on the subject of troubles, I myself have a private matter I'd like to bring to your attention. It involves a magic relic I rather foolishly sought. A weapon called the Staff of Pergamon. Jake murdered? Oh, yes. Yes, now I recall. Indeed. I could hardly believe it myself. The Council and I have certainly had our differences over the years, but old squabbles evaporate under such circumstances. Most of the townsfolk are certain Jake's wife Esmeralda is responsible. In fact, the Legion have taken her into protective custody to keep her safe from the mob. As you can imagine, I've known Esmeralda for years. That business between her and the Duke of Ferrol was always a bit, suggestive. But I've never had cause to suspect her of violence. Still, one never knows for sure. An all right bloke, apart from all this Esmeralda nonsense. The whole town knows the only goal of his business trips to Syceal is to spend a night or two at the King Crab Inn with Mrs. Counselor. What? The undead? Yes, for the past 2 years those blasted skeletons have all but suffocated this city. With all but one trade route overrun, Syceal's once torrential commerce has slowed to a pathetic trickle. What now? Oh, you're speaking gibberish. Ah, you mean the Staff of Pergamon. Yes, yes. I was expecting a shipment of weapons and a month. Cecil proved an old fool, though. For the merchant slated to deliver it to me has just informed me that the damn thing has gone missing. I fear it may have fallen into the wrong hands, and I wonder if you could retrieve it for me. His name is Conrad, captain of the Tide Splitter, a merchant ship still docked at the Sicil harbor. You can talk to him if you think it'd help, but I'd quite like to avoid getting the Legion involved, if you don't mind. The staff itself contains a shard of an ore, highly valued for its use in the weapons of war. I know use of the material to be forbidden, but I was desperate to do something to aid the townsfolk against the undead. Well, I do believe that's something your parents ought to have discussed with you long ago, Source Hunter. But I suppose if you really don't know, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least explain the basics. Ah, you see, when a lady and a fellow find each other rather nice, well, rather more than nice, they occasionally, well, they, Oh, this is nonsense. I'm the mayor for the 7th sake. I can't be bothered to chat all day about the birds and the bees when Sicil's under siege by orcs, undead, and cultists.
Greetings! These stores are for only...
Fine! Step aside! Ah! This maniac's gonna turn me into a...
Come on, chicken.
A chicken?
Yes, let's pardon him.
Why did you let my chicken escape? You let my chicken escape? Looks like it's your lucky day, Jack. Now to tell the troops they're getting nothing but the cornbread.
Give me muck. Tra-la-la-la. I'm writing a story called The Pearl and the Swine. That'll help some. You know how you people say you're a good provider when you bring home the bacon? You should knock that off. Well, Source Hunter, you come to the right place, you have. I got every style of equipment to fit you from head to foot, if it's a trade you're after. Greetings! These stores are groups.
You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I pulled her off you
Sorry, sir.
before she could do any real damage.
Hey, who's that then? Come on, stand where my good eye can see you.
Attention! About face!
Easy, Tull. That's the Source Hunter you're talking to.
Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Those things would embarrass a bridge crew. Get to shining recruits.
She may have the look of a woman if you squint hard enough, but she's no more than a wild animal. We got reports of a strange-looking outsider skulking through the town with her bow drawn. I found her crouched behind a tree, taking aim at a fat old rat trotting along the city walls. I tapped her on the shoulder to see what was what, and the beast startled like a wild cat and lunged right at me.
Bit Tullia right in the face, she did. It wasn't pretty, and now it's got a chunk ripped off it to boot.
Enjoy it while you can, Ver. There's not another legionnaire in the cohort that'll have you if I go rabid.
To the barracks! March! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
Well, that's to be decided. She doesn't seem to be sick, despite Tully's moaning. We can't keep her here forever, but we can't well send her into the wilds again, can we?
Get to shining recruits!
Sorry, sir.
Perhaps it'd be worth taking this stranger under our wing. She'll...
After all, a fearless hunter might prove quite useful for our investigation.
Embarrass a bridge crew. Get to shining recruits!
Well, that's a relief, ain't it? We found a good home for her after all, Tull.
Heed me, Source Hunter.
You say you will take me under your wing, but I see no feathers. Are you a child of the birds, as I am of the bears? And so the lonely babe was fed upon the wild mother's milk, and cast aside from humankind, he thrived among his mother's ilk. So says the saga of Threes. Do you know it?
Oh, peace! To the barracks! Nuts! Recruits, that was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Attention!
The wise godwolf Amira raised the child Threes among her litter. So you see, I have good company. Threes the wolfson, and I the bear daughter. In truth, this is a relief. Your world is made with rules I have not yet memorized. I am happy to have a friend in such a place.
Those boots that embarrass a bridge crew get to shining recruits.
Ask freely, my friend. Your city is far more wild than Home Forest. In Home Forest, the rules are clear. In Home Forest, your strength and speed determine your fate.
Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir, no, sir.
Here, a tiny screech woman, no swifter than a mudworm, might confine you into a tiny cage, and one must wait for a kind stranger to grant freedom.
Recruits, that was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Those boots embarrass a bridge crew. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Those boots that embarrass a bridge crew. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, Jarrett. Wise Jarrett. Taught me the bird songs of our people. If not for him, I would never have learned more than the beasts could teach me. A beast's life is to survive. A human's is to know. I am both beast and human, and so I must do both.
Recruits, that was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
I have learned all the bird song that Jarrett could teach. I remembered every word. These tales have brought me much pleasure. Sorry, sir. The remembering of the beasts is without lies. We know not to approach the wasp's nest because long ago one bear mother discovered its dangers. This she taught to her cubs, and those cubs taught the next. We do not remember Rito and the battle of the buzzing brutes. We remember only what is useful to us now. Rito will be forgotten. The beauty of the story will be forgotten. But the lesson will not. It is different between beasts and humans. I am lucky to enjoy both ways. He came to me when I was small. A fierce, wild one, yet unaware of the difference between the other cubs and herself. He called to me in a soft song. At first I thought him a great bird. We each reached out to the other. We found each other. Jarrett visited me often, and in time I learned his songs and more. When he built a small cabin within Home Forest, I hunted his food and fetched his water by day while he studied his books and his magics. By night, by the fire, Jarrett is my master and my friend, my teacher and myself. He teaches me and I care for him.
To the barracks! March! Recruits, That was sloppier than Sicilian stew.
I heard this was a place of many people, so here I came. I have seen more faces here in a day than I had seen in all the days of my life together. But I have not found the face I seek. Jarrett is missing. It is my duty to find him.
Sir, no, sir.
Attention! About face! To the barracks!
That mystery is thick and ugly as a swarm of hornets. It started with a great disturbance in Home Forest. A terrible disease came in the night and turned the birds and beasts soft and foul as carrion while they still lived. I watched countless of my loved ones die, rotted from the inside. When I ran to Jarrett to tell him what I had seen, his reaction was strange. He had no answer. The next morning, Jarrett did not emerge from his room. I left him be, but after 3 days I grew anxious. I broke down the door and inside his chamber was nothing. His equipment, his books, all but some scraps of parchment were gone. He was kidnapped, and all his research was taken with him. The only clue I found was a letter among the scraps. I could not make out all the words, but I recognized the threat. Death, coming for you. And the signature? Attenborough. I do not know the one called Attenborough, but I know that if I am to find Jarrett, I must start there. Whoever this Attenborough may be, I believe he or she may know where Jarrett has been taken.
Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian...
Source Hunter. I have heard tales both grand and terrible about the... In Home Forest, every creature acts according to the nature of its kind. Birds frighten easily, badgers fear little. But amongst men, there are no guarantees. It is difficult for me to claim humanity as you do. I am still learning to see myself in the faces of those I meet. And those I meet do not always see themselves in me. It is strange.
Those bolted embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Attention! About face! To the barracks! March! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Those bolted embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir, no, sir.
Those bolted embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Those bolted embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir, no, sir.
What have we here, then?
A so-called source hunter, eh? Well, look, do what you must in Sicil, but don't make waves and don't interfere with the Legion's affairs. You hear? I'm Captain Aureus, if you must know, leader of the Legion in Sicil. By which I mean I have the enviable task of commanding a battalion of walking dead. For I fear it may well be but a matter of time before the undead undo all my soldiers and turn them into drivelling hordes of their own misshapen number. Gods above! Some politician snuffs it and everyone's in an uproar. Ridiculous! I told that wizard brat of an Ahu not to bother, but he just had to send for source hunters, didn't he? Bloody magicians. They see a pigeon poop and think sorcery's afoot. Nevertheless, I want to be kept in the loop. Understand? I am in command of this town, not Mayor Cecil, not Ahu, and definitely not some hotshot source hunter. So investigate Jake's death if you feel so inclined, but report back to me the moment you discover something out of the ordinary. The scene of the crime is over at the King Crab Inn. You can tell the guard you have my permission to enter. Now off with you! Esmeralda is Jake's wife. Well, widow. Everyone in town, down to the crabs on the beach, is convinced she killed him. Now, the girl has the reputation of being a flirt. There is that. But that doesn't suffice as evidence, wouldn't you say? Or do source hunters rely on hearsay alone, perhaps? That certainly would explain some of the cock-ups you lot have made in the past. What? You're going to stand there and claim with a straight face your order never wrongly tortured and executed anyone? Hardly. But I won't stand for such nonsense. If you bring evidence before me, I'll evaluate it with perfect objectivity. The Legion relies on reason, see? Not idle superstition. If you must.
Attention!
Source Hunter,
A sight for sore eyes, if ever there was one. I know you're probably knee-deep in that awful murder investigation, but truth be told, the Legion could use your help as well. We've been conducting a series of expeditions into undead territory, and I'm afraid I must admit they've met with very little success. Lieutenant Selenia, at your service. I'm Captain Aureus' second-in-command, but rest assured I am a lot more kindly inclined towards source hunters than he is. Now, I certainly don't mind a bit of healthy competition and even rivalry between our orders, but I, for one, have no intention of looking a gift horse in the mouth. And that is exactly what your presence in Sicil is, source hunter.